Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. Let us
Guruji, you have to
start.
give. So, Guruji, you have to give me 2 minutes. I need to go live. I was waiting for it.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaskaram.
Guruji, you can start.
Shrutismritipurananam alayam karunalayam namami bhagavadpada shankaram lokashankaram sadashivasamarambham shankaracharya madhyamam asmadacharya paryantam vande guru paramparam vasudevasutam devam kamsachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are continuing with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita with the commentary of Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. We are in chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. Yesterday we completed Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, and the last shloka of that chapter was the essence of Gita, asking us to worship Parabrahman with form, Saguna Sakara Parabrahman, and doing all our work for him. Now Arjuna got a little doubt as to whether one should worship the Saguna Sakara form or the formless Nirguna Nirakara Parabrahman, which is better. Bhagavan said the Saguna Sakara form worship is better. Then he went on to describe the Nirguna Nirakara form worship. And there, they prapnuvanti mameva, he said, they attain me, which means there they attain jnana, which is equivalent to attaining me. After having attained jnana, one doesn't have to do anything else. Jnana devahi kaivalyam. So, in fact, Shankara went on to say that they cannot be compared with any other group. Yukta tamaha, when you use a comparative statement, they are better than this. They are an exclusive set, so they cannot be compared. They are definitely superior. But he said the other group is superior from the point of view of ordinary aspirants. That he made very clear. Sveshaha adhikataraha tesham. Because for Nirguna Nirakara worshippers, the effort is extreme, very difficult. And the fruits are not easy to attain. That is the reason why he recommended Saguna Sakara worship. So he continues on the same lines to explain what is Saguna Sakara worship and what it does. Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena am dhyayanta upasate. Ananyenaiva yogena avidyamanam anyat alambanam. That means there is no other support, alamban. There is no other refuge. With that attitude of surrender, with that attitude of yoga, ananyenaiva yogena. Ye tu whoever sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya, all their activities, sarvani karmani, there is no exception to that. All the activities, mayi sanyasya, having dedicated to me, having surrendered to me. Yeah, all the activities are completely surrendered to me. Once you are a sannyasi, you don't have any ownership of anything. You don't own anything. You have surrendered ownership of everything to Bhagavan. Same way, here all the activities have been surrendered, dedicated to Ishvara. Mayi sanyasya matparaha, having me only as their goal. That we have seen before also. Mam dhyayanta upasate. They continuously meditate on me and they worship me. Upasanam was described in another sloka by Shankara as Taila Dharavat Dhyanam. Meditation as if it is a flow of oil. That kind of continuity. That is Upasanam, he said. So, with that kind of attitude, if you go on meditating, Mam Dhyayanta, with no other goal in your mind, Ananyayana Iva Yogena, all activities being surrendered to me, and having me as the goal, having Ishvara as the goal. So for them, what happens? Teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mayyaveshita chetasam. Tesham, for these people who were mentioned in the previous sloka, Mayi aveshita chetasam. This is an emphasis on the previous sloka's content. All their minds focused entirely on me. Mayi aveshita chetasam. For them, aham mrityu samsara sagarat samuddharta bhavami. I become, aham bhavami, I become mrityu samsara sagarat samuddharta. Samuddharta is one who rescues, from the ocean of samsara. Mrityu samsara. Samsara denoted by mrityu. Samsara is denoted by Janma and Mrityu. So, having been born, now we are proceeding towards death. So, that is the definition of samsara. So, from this ocean, we need somebody to rescue us because we do not know how to rescue ourselves. So, he comes and rescues us. मृत्यु एव सागर एव सागरः संसार एव सागर एव सागरः दुस्तरत्वात् very difficult to cross. That is why we need a rescuer, a deliverer. Do I take a lot of time for doing this? No. Achirat, very quickly, I go and deliver them from this sagara. So here is the difference which Shankara and other commentators point out. Here, Bhagavan comes to the rescue, whereas in the other case, they apnuvanti mameva, they attain me without Bhagavan having to do anything. That is the difference, because they have already become jnanis. This was the point which I was trying to make yesterday. So this is the difference. They are in different class, jnanis are in a different class, but for the worshippers of the form, Bhagavan comes to their rescue. Nachirat, very quickly. Tasminneva Janmani. Madhusudana Saraswati understands this as in the same birth. Don't have to wait for the next birth. Tasminneva Janmani. Then Sagunopasanaya, Madhusudana Saraswati goes into great explanation here. Sagunopasanaya nirasta sarva pratibandhanam vina gurupadesham vina cha shravanamana nididhyasanadhya vrittiklesham swayam avirbhutena vedanta vakyena ishvara prasad sahagritena तत्त्वज्ञानोदयात् अविद्या तत्कार्य निवृत्त्या ब्रह्मलोके ऐश्वर्य भोगान्ते निर्गुण विद्याफल परम ऐक कैवल्य उपपत्तेः. This is what Bhagavan gives you. What Bhagavan gives, he is explaining. Sagunopasanaya, because you have worshipped Bhagavan with gunas, with attributes, and you have worshipped with full focus on him. Nirasta sarva pratibandhanam, having dropped all your chains, all bondages having been dropped with the samsara. Vina Gurupadesham, even without the blessings of Guru, even without. Vinacha Shravana Manana Nididhyasanadi Avritti Klesham. For the Jnani, he goes through a process. He listens from Guru, Shravana, then Manana, he meditates, he goes and clears his doubts, then he does Nididhyasana, he internalizes. We saw that threefold process. That is how Jnani becomes Jnani. Whereas this man who has worshipped Saguna Brahma does not go through all that process because Bhagavan gives them special blessing. Swayam Avirbhutene Vedanta Vakyena Ishvara Prasada Sahakritena Tattvajnanodayat. Vedanta Vakya, which you have to listen from Guru, Tattvamasi, Guru teaches. Then Shishya imbibes the teaching. That is how Jnana Marga proceeds. But here in Bhakti Marga, this man has not gone through that process. Then who will give this teaching? Bhagavan gives the teaching. Swayam Avirbhutaen. The teaching comes to him on his own, in his mind. Ishvara Prasada Sahvirtena Tattvajnanodayat. He gets that jnana which the other Shishya was getting from the Guru. And by internalizing it, by the process of internalizing it, this man gets simply from the blessing of Ishvara. Tattvajnana Udayat. He gets all the Tattvajnana. Avidya Tatkarya Nivritya. Avidya and its effects, Tatkarya. All that goes off from him, which was binding him with the samsara. He had Dehabhimana, you remember, that's how we started. That was the distinction between this group and the other group. Other group has left Dehabhimana behind, attachment to their body. Whereas this man had attachment to the body. In this process, because of Ishvara's blessing, he gets rid of all the Dehabhimana, all the avidya, all the ignorance, and its effects, Tatkarya Nivritya, Brahmaloke Aishwarya Bhogante. He said, no, he gets moksha, this Tasmineva Janmani. That means he will not come back to earth. But he does not get moksha instantly. He goes through that process which we have seen before. That process takes him to Brahmaloka. There he enjoys all the Aishwarya, including the meditation, Aishwarya Bhogante, Nirguna Vidya Parama Kaivalya Upapatte. Whatever that Nirguna Upasaka had attained, that Parama Kaivalya, the supreme moksha. The supreme moksha which was attained by that jnani from the other group, he attains after spending some time in Brahmaloka. This is the way Madhusudana Saraswati has interpreted very nicely. So how to distinguish between these two groups? This is the distinction. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मनाधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. How to do this worship? Now he is explaining the process. For Jnanis, he has explained in detail in earlier chapters. For this group who are worshipping Saguna Sakara Bhagavan, Ishvara, for them he is giving three options for depending on the grade of the worshipper, depending on your qualification. He gives three paths. first path is the difficult path, and it is for the best of the worshippers. Mayyeva mana adhatsva. Deposit your mind only in me. Adhatsva is depositing. That means once you have deposited in the bank, you cannot withdraw, isn't it? Similarly, you have deposited your mind in Bhagavan. So mind does not go anywhere else. Mayyeva, only in me, not in samsara. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Similarly, direct your buddhi towards me only. What is the difference between the first and the second? First was manas. We have seen the difference between manas and buddhi. Manas is sankalpa vikalpatmakam. It considers various alternatives. Don't consider any alternative, just worship Bhagavan. That is the first instruction. The second is, having considered many alternatives, you fix your mind on one. So don't do all that. Fix your mind on only one in the very beginning. Don't consider any other alternative. So this is the teaching. Nivasishyati mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayaha. Once you have done this, once you have focused your mind and intellect entirely on me, I assure you that you will live only in me. Mayyeva nivasishyati. Nivasa is living, residing. You will reside only in me. Ata urdhvam. After this, after what? After you have focused your mind, after you have deposited your mind and intellect. Ata urdhvam. After this, mayyeva nivasishyasi. You will reside only in me. Na samshayaha. There is no doubt in it. He is giving an assurance also. Ata urdhvam. What does it mean? Shari, after this, after you have deposited, before what? Urdhvam is also interpreted as before. So, ata urdhvam, before what? Sharira patat urdhvam. Urdhvam means after only. Sharira patat urdhvam. After the body drops. Sharira patat urdhvam. That is, having deposited your mind in me and having been worshipping me with all your mind and intellect, you will live in me, he said. You will live in me entirely when? After you have dropped the body. Because as long as you possess your body, there will be a little bit of distraction, a little bit of maintenance of the body, etc. All that will go away once you have dropped your body and you will be entirely in me. That is the interpretation given by Shankara. Sharira patat urdhvam, after the body drops. Ata urdhvam. Now the second alternative. This was first alternative, the toughest one, where the mind has to be entirely focused on Bhagavan. Now second is atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram abhyasa yogena tato amichhaptam dhananjaya. After this, next alternative. Chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram. Mayi chittam samadhatum. To focus your mind, to dedicate your mind entirely in me. Sthiram. With no wavering of mind. Strongly rooted. Na shaknoshi. If you cannot do that, if that is not possible for you. Abhyasa yogena tato mam ichha aptum dhananjaya. Abhyasa yogena. Keep practicing. The difference between the first and the second is, second one has perfected the practice. Second one is just practicing. He has not perfected. So there is distraction in his mind. So keep on trying to. That is, after all, what is yoga? Yoga is perfection of the practice of focusing our mind on Parabrahman. When the mind gets distracted, pratyahara, that is one of the steps of Ashtanga Yoga we saw. Withdrawing the mind from those objects. That is what he is saying. That is the practice. So this practice is also yoga, Abhyasa Yoga. This also will lead to unity with Bhagavan. Abhyasa Yogena tataha. Mam aptum ichha. You should have the desire to attain me during that Abhyasa. During the mam aptum ichha is the essence here. Your desire to attain me should be They are intense. Only thing is you are not able to practice it. Practicing is tough. So keep on practicing. This is the second alternative which is giving. चित्तस्य एकस्मिन् आलम्बने सर्वतः समाहृत्य पुनः पुनः स्थापनम् अभ्यासः. Whenever it gets distracted, bring it back. Tatpurvakaha yogaha samadhana lakshanaha. That also will give the perfection in due course. Now, Madhusudana Saraswati makes it very clear that there are three alternatives. Idanim saguna brahma dhyana ashaktanam ashakti taratamyena pratamam pratimadau bhakye bhagavad dhyana abhyasah tadashaktu bhagavata dharmanushthanam tadashaktu sarvakarma phalatyagaha iti त्रीणि साधनानि त्रिभिः श्लोकैः विधत्ते. Saguna Brahman also, if you keep on meditating in your mind, that is the highest, but you are not able to do. Ashakti taratamyene, because of your inability to do that. There are differences. Taratamya. Prathamam pratimado bhakye bhagavad dhyana abhyasa. First is keep on meditating in Bhagavan image, vigraha, etc. Bhagavad dhyana abhyasa. So if your mind is not focused, then you at least do this. Abhyasa. Tadashakto bhagavata dharmanushthanam. That is the next shloka is going to be. If you are not able to do that also, lead the life of a Bhagavata. Bhagavata dharma anushthan. We will see what it is. That also you cannot do. Tadashakto sarvakarma phalatyagaha. Then what we started with in Karma Yoga. Keep on doing like you have been doing earlier, all your activities, but dedicate your fruits to Bhagavan. That is the last of the three. Trini sadhanani tribhihi shlokaihi vidatte. With three shlokas, Bhagavan is explaining that. The first was the most superior. 8th shloka was the most superior. After that, three alternatives are given. The first one, very superior. Second is, the ninth one is the first of the three alternatives where Abhyasa is mentioned. Mayyev manadats, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyev, ata urdhvam na samshayaha, atha chittam samadhatum, na shaknoshi mayi sthiram, abhyasa yogena tato, mamichhaptum dhananjaya. If you closely study shloka number 8, you will find that there is hardly any difference between this group and the other group. Other group also has come through the same path of meditation. Here also he says, meditate on me continuously. So here the difference only is the meditation quality on whom you are meditating. There you are meditating on Nirguna Brahma. Here you are meditating on Saguna Brahma, on Rama, on Krishna, on Shiva, on Kamakshi, like that. That form is there in your mind and you are meditating on that form and you are dedicating yourself entirely to that form. Whereas the first group was without any form, without any guna, only Sati, Shati, Anandam. That was their dhyana. So that is the only difference, but otherwise there is not much difference. So they are kept in the first superior class. If you cannot attain the superiority, then Bhagavan gives three alternatives. The first alternative is Abhyasa. Then second, Abhyase asamarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Abhyasepi asamarthaha asi. Asamarthaha. If you don't have the ability to do even Abhyasa. Abhyasa also requires some ability, isn't it? Because you have to sit for meditation. You have to concentrate on meditation. Only thing is you have to withdraw the mind from mundane objects and bring it back to Bhagavan. That is Abhyasa. That it's not possible for everyone. He says, if you cannot do that, mat karma paramaha bhava. Do all your work for me. All my work you do. What is my work? Brahma Bhava Lakshana. All work which will give you Brahma Bhava, which will give you Ishvara Bhava, which will not take you away, which will not become purely mundane. So, all that work you should do in this attitude. Brahma Bhava Lakshana. All work you do should be dedicated with Brahma Bhava. Now, this Mat Karma Paramaha Bhava. Nilakantha Swamiji, he gives a different explanation. What is Mat Karma? He quotes from Bhagavata. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam Navavidha Bhakti. Prahlada mentions 9 forms of bhakti. In fact, it is an evolution starting from Shravanam and going up to Atma Nivedanam. Shravanam is the first step. First, listen to Bhagavan's Leelas, glories, greatness. Then finally, you surrender completely. Nothing left in you, Atma Niveda. So, from the lowest level of bhakti to the highest level of bhakti, Prahlada gives 9 stages. First is listening, Kirtanam, then singing his japa, parayana, etc. Singing. Smaranam, next is keep thinking about all his leelas. Let the thoughts be about Bhagavan. Pada Sevanam, that is worshipping the feet. Worshipping the feet is actually puja, which comes in the next one, Archanam. So, if you happen to see anybody any great saint whom you consider as Bhagavan, you go and worship him. That is the indirect meaning, Pada Seva. Worshipping the feet of great gurus whom you consider as Bhagavan. Archanam. Then you worship the Guru as well as Bhagavan. Vandanam. Prostrate. Dasyam. Become their slave. Become the Guru's slave. Become the Bhagavan's slave. What is slavery? Slavery is whatever the Swami, the master, expects, you keep doing it. Whatever has been mentioned by the master as his expectation in Shastras, Vedas, keep doing that. Sakhyam. Next is friendship. Now you have become closer to Guru and Bhagavan. You call him your friend, like Arjuna did with Krishna. Atma Nivedanam. Surrendering completely with nothing left. Now, the examples for all this are also given by great scholars. Who is the standing example for all this Navavida Bhakti? Shravanam is Parikshit. By simply listening to Bhagavatam, he attained moksha. Kirtana, singing. Who is the example? Valmiki. By singing the glory of Rama, he attained moksha. Smaranam is Prahlada. Pada Sevanam, Lakshmi. The question of attaining moksha doesn't arise here, but she is the example for Pada Sevi. Archanam, Prithu, a great king, the forefather of all these or Pandavas and Kauravas. That is why he is known as Partha. He is coming in the line of Prithu. He was known for that, Archana. Then Vandanam is Akrura. Akrura was known for prostrating. In fact, when he came to Gokulam for picking up Krishna, for taking him to Mathura as instructed by Kamsa, what did he do? He got down from the chariot a good distance before he reached Gokulam. That was the level of his bhakti. He got down from the chariot at a good distance before he reached Gokulam, and then he started rolling on the soil of Gokulam. The soil of Gokulam itself is so sacred. I don't want to walk on that. Let me roll. And then he reached Bhagavan's residence. That is Vandanam. Dasyam slavery, servant, attitude of servant, that is Hanuman, that doesn't need any explanation. Sakhyam, Arjuna, that also doesn't need explanation. Atmanivedanam, who is the example for Atmanivedanam? Complete surrender. Vibhishana and Bali, two examples are given by scholars. Vibhishana surrendered everything. He put his life at stake. Those monkeys could have even killed him. He put his life at stake. He went and surrendered before Rama. Similarly, Bali, he surrendered. Where should I place my third step, third foot? Bhagavan asked. He said, put it on my head. So that was the ultimate surrender, Bali. So these are the examples. Now this is Mat Karma. This is how you do your activity. These are the people who have shown us the way. Mat Karma Paramaha. That means all your focus should be only on doing my karma. Devote yourself wholly to my karma. Mat Karma Paramaha. Madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhimavapsyasi. Madarthamapi karmani kurvan. Even doing all your activities only for the sake of Bhagavan. Madartham api. By doing that way, siddhim avapsyasi, you will reach your ultimate goal. Attainment of goal is siddhi. That is moksha. You will get moksha, he says. Even in the category, second category, strictly speaking, the third category, because Madhusudana Saraswati started counting from the Abhyasa category, because the earlier category he dismissed as ideal. So, in order to attain ideal, he categorized three. So, one was the Abhyasa. Second is this Mat Karma Paramaha. Even doing works, all your activities for my sake, you will get same moksha. Kurvan siddhim avapsati. Asetadapyasaktosi kartum madyogamashritah sarvakarma phalatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. Ath etat api ashaktah asi. Etat api, even this, mat karma paramaha, even this, if you are not able to do, kartum ashaktah asi, if you cannot do, madhyogam ashritah, resorting to union with me. That means there is a mental attitude. At least attach your mind to me even when you are engaged in mundane activities. Sarva karma phalatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. Yatatmavan with full self-control. Yata atmavan with full self-control. Don't allow your indriyas to go here and there. Keep your indriyas under control. Keep your mind under control. Keep your intellect under control. And keep your focus on me as far as possible. Vadyogam ashritaha. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Renounce the fruits of all your activities. If you do this, then also you will get, eventually you will progress on the spiritual line and you will get jnana. That is the meaning. Siddhim Sattva Shuddhi Yoga Jnana Prapti Dvarena. Siddhim Apsati, he said in the 10th shloka. Sattva Shuddhi Yoga Jnana Prapti Dvarena. The mind becomes pure by doing karmas for Bhagavan, and then you become eligible for jnana prapti. So similarly here also, Mayi kriyamanani karmani sanyasya yat karanam tesham anushtanam saha madyogaha. Madyogam ashritaha has been explained like this. That is, all activities, ownership, you should lose and then deposit the ownership to me. And that is how you should do your activities. That is Madhyogam Ashritaha. Now, Jnaneshwari gives some examples of this. This is abstract idea, so he gives examples. He gives the example of a tree. Tree keeps on giving the fruit without bothering about using the fruit for itself. Similarly, you do your work for others, considering others as Bhagavan. That is an example given by Jnaneshwara. Karma phala tyaga. Similarly, in due course, you will get jnana. Jnaneshwara says, if you do not cling to the fruit, like you do not cling to a dream, after we come out of the dream, do we remember the dream? We don't even remember what we dreamt. We don't bother to think about the dream again. Similarly, whatever fruit of the work you have got, you don't think about it, renounce the fruit. Like you will renounce a dream scene. Then third example Jnaneshwara gives, which has been given in Vedanta again and again, is burnt seeds. If a seed is burnt, it will not bear any fruit, it cannot become a tree. A roasted seed, this is the example given in Vedanta repeatedly. That like that, all your desires, all your actions should become roasted in the fire of jnana. So for that, keep training yourself. अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम् ततः कुरु यथात्मवान्. Now, having given three alternatives to the first one, the supreme one, now he is giving some further guidance. This is the last of the shlokas dedicated to guidance for Saguna Upasakas. So the next shloka onwards, he turns his attention to the ultimate goal, to the goal of the jnani. So here he is giving some more guidance, mainly for attracting our attention, because the way it is worded, it will look as if it is not the policy of Gita. श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्, that is clear. Attaining jnana is more beneficial than abhyasa, practicing. Because once you have attained, there is no question of putting effort in practice. You have attained your goal. Jnanam is the goal. So that is clear. This shloka is for the ordinary ignorant person, because he came down 3 steps for the ignorant person. So he wants to encourage the ignorant person to take to this path. People like Arjuna, ordinary people. So he, after having spelled out 3 alternatives to the supreme alternative, he feels that the way it has been described, people may think that these second, third alternatives, etc., are not perhaps as efficient. To remove that impression that they are equally as efficient, they will take you to the goal eventually in course of time. So he wants to give that assurance by putting in very attractive words. That is why he starts like this. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate. Dhyanam is superior even to jnana. Jnana is the most superior, everyone knows. But here he is making an opposite statement. Jnanate dhyanam vishishyate. Meditation is greater, superior to jnana. Why? Because imperfect jnana. People may think they have attained jnana and they will become arrogant. That is the implication of this statement. Real jnana he is not talking about. Unreal jnana will lead you downwards. Whereas if you keep to dhyana, then it is good for you. विवेकपूर्वकात् अभ्यासात् तस्मादपि ज्ञानात् ज्ञानपूर्वकं ध्यानं विशिष्यते. You keep on doing abhyasa for attaining jnana, so that abhyasa should be rooted in dhyana. So that is why dhyana is superior for an ordinary person. Dhyanam vishishyate. ज्ञानवतः ध्यानात् अपि कर्मफलत्यागः विशिष्यते इति अनुषज्यते. ज्ञानात् ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः. Even superior to dhyana is the renouncing of the fruits of karma. Because for the ignorant man, even giving up the fruits of karma is extremely difficult. What about dhyana? So he doesn't want to. So he puts the superiority in a reverse order just for making it attractive. This is from the point of view of अज्ञस्य कर्मणि प्रवृत्तस्य पूर्वोपदिष्ट उपाय अनुष्ठान अशक्तौ सर्वकर्मणां फलत्यागः श्रेयस्साधनम् इति उपदिष्टं न प्रथममेव. Shankara makes it absolutely clear. Purvopadiष्ट उपाय अनुष्ठान अशक्तौ, because he is finding it difficult to follow the paths mentioned earlier. For him, sarva karma phalatyaga, renouncing the fruits of karma, is the best for him. So from his point of view, this is अतश्च श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् इत्यादि उत्तरोत्तर विशिष्टत्व उपदेशेन सर्वकर्म फलत्यागः स्तूयते. Because he wants to focus the attention of the ignorant man on sarva karma phalatyaga, renouncing the fruits of karma. Even that is difficult for him. So he does not want him to turn his attention to higher things. That is why he says, Uttarottara Vishishtattva Upadeshana. One is superior to the other he is giving just to make it attractive. Sampanna sadhana anushtana ashakta anushtayattvena shrutatvat. Anushtana ashakta. Because he is not able to follow the previous, practice the previous Upadesha, this has been given. But for this, is there any support from Veda? Even that Shankara has gone into. For this statement, Dhyanat Karmapala Tyagaha, Tyagat Shantihi Anantaram. If you do this Tyaga, renunciation of the fruits of works, Anantaram Shantihi. Afterward, you will get Shanti. Shanti is moksha. So, he's assuring moksha even for Karmapala Tyaga. So, is there any Vedic authority for this? Yes. From Kathopanishad, Shankara is quoting, Yada sarve pramuchyante iti sarvakama praharanad amritatvam uttam. If you drop all your desires, you will get immortality. That has been given in Kathopanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also mentions similar. Kamascha sarve shautasmartha karmanam phalani. Here, whatever was mentioned as kama in both the Upanishads, desires, is the fruits of all your Shrauta karmas and Smartha karmas. Satyage cha vidushaha dhyana nishthasya anantara eva shantihi. Whatever the Vidwan jnana nishtha gets, that shanti this man also will get in due course. Iti sarvakamatyaga samanyam ajna karma phalatyagasya api asti. इति तत् सामान्यात् सर्वकर्मफलत्यागस्तुतिः इयं प्ररोचनार्थः. Shankara makes it very clear. Prarochanartha, to make it attractive, to make the ignorant man attracted towards this. Sarva karma phala tyaga stutihi. He praises the renunciation of all the fruits of karmas because it will also lead to the goal. He is giving even an example. Shankara is giving an example for this. यथा अगस्त्येन ब्राह्मणेन समुद्रः पीतः यति इदानीन्तनाः अपि ब्राह्मणाः ब्राह्मणत्वसामान्यात् स्तूयन्ते. When somebody says Agastya was a Brahmana and he was able to drink all the ocean by doing achamana from his palm. If somebody recounts this Puranic story, that will give impetus to all the Brahmanas of today also. When that Brahmana could achieve that, I am also a Brahmana, I should also be able to achieve the same Siddhi. This is for praravachana, for giving that impetus, for giving that enthusiasm. So he is giving that example. Idanentanaha api Brahmana, even Brahmanas of today. Brahmanatva samanyat. There is one common feature between these people and Agastya, that is Brahmanatva. Suryante. So even today's Brahmanas can be attracted toward that goal. Similarly, he is making it attractive. So he is making it absolutely clear that this is not be taken at face value, but this is the interpretation. As Arjuna is not qualified for Jnana Marga, Karma Yogam Bheda Drishtim Antameva Upadishati. Karma Yoga is suitable for him, he has said even earlier. So he doesn't want him to deviate from that. That is why he is coming back to that. Kathopanishad says, Yada sarve pramachyante kamayesthya hridishritaha athamartyo mrito bhavatyatra brahma samashnute. When all the desires die from the human heart, the man becomes immortal and he becomes Brahma even here. Atra Brahma samashnute. He becomes Parabrahma even here, even on earth. So, Sarva Karma Phalatyaga can lead to that highest status, is accepted by Upanishad, Kathopanishad. In fact, this is a very famous statement. Atra Brahma Samashnate is a very famous quotation. Similarly, from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, with what Shankara mentioned a few words, but this is the full statement. Yo kamo nishkama aptakama atmakamo ratasya prana uttaramanti brahma ivasan brahmapyeti. One who has dropped all his desires, he considers himself as having secured all the desires, aptakama, atmakam, because his focus is now on atma. When he dedicates all the fruits of karmas, he becomes atmakam. Natasya prana utkramanti. His pranas do not leave his body at the time of death. For all the ordinary persons, the pranas leave along with the impressions, the mental impressions, which will take him to the next body. That is the process. That, in fact, Bhagavan is also going to explain in another chapter. Whereas for this man, that is why we have adhishtanas for gurus whom we go and worship, because their pranas have not left their body. If your pranas have left the body, body is useless, so body is burned for ordinary people. For them, prana lives in that body, so they have a presence in that body. That is why we go and worship. That is what Upanishad makes clear. Brahma isam Brahma apyati. He becomes Parabrahman here itself with that body. So that is how he closes this analysis with this shloka. Then he goes on to describing the goal of jnana. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyatat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate jnanat karma phala tyagaha tyagachantiranantaram adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karunaya vacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha kshami. How will a jnani behave? That is the subject taken up from this shloka up to the last of this chapter, up to the shloka number 20. These characteristics of Jnani have been grouped in 3 places in Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 2, we saw Sthita Prajna Lakshana. Something like, I think 10 or 12 slokas are there. 12, I think. Sthita Prajna Lakshana. How a Jnani is. Now here, it comes under the scope of Bhakti Yoga. So this is categorized as Bhakta Lakshana. Same. In fact, you will find same being repeated more or less. That is why we mentioned yesterday that Parabhakti and Parajnana are the same. But Bhagavan takes pains to make it clear. That is why he repeats as Bhakta Lakshana in these slokas. And there is again the third time Bhagavan is going to repeat, that is when we go to Gunas. Gunatita Lakshana. One who has gone beyond the Gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. There also he is using different words but conveying more or less the same thing with emphasis on certain aspects. There in Sthita Prajna, the emphasis was on dropping everything connected with samsara and focusing attention only on Parabrahman. That was the emphasis. But here, since this Bhakta, he has mentioned right from Sarvakarma Paratyaga onwards, he is still wading in samsara, and then he is aiming to become a jnani. So he is creating a bridge between his present state and the goal to be attained. So that is why he is using the term Adveshta Sarvabhutanam Maitraha Karunayevacha. Unlike that Sthitaprajna Jnani, he is very much wading in mental, in samsaric world. That is why he is saying Adveshta Sarvabhutana. While you are wading in the samsara, remember not to develop hostility towards any being, Sarvabhutana. All living beings, no hostility, no dvesha, no enmity. Maitraha Karunayevacha. You should, on the other hand, establish friendship, Maitraha. And on the other hand, you should show compassion with all living beings, with no exception. Sarvabhutana. Maitraha Karunayevacha. Maitraha Mitrabhavaha Mitrataya Vartate iti Maitraha. Karunam Kripa Dukshiteshu Daya Tadvan Karunaha Sarvabhuta Abhayapradaha. Sannyasi iti Arthaha. When a person takes sannyasa, as we saw recently, he goes through certain process. And one of the processes is Sarvabhuta Abhayapradaha. He gives abhaya to all living beings. That is one of the vows he takes when he becomes a sannyasi. So that kind of attitude you should possess. You may not don the author robes of a sannyasi, but this is the attitude we should have. That is why he is bringing that here. Karunam Kripa Dukshiteshu Daya Tadvan Karunaha Sarvabhuta Abhayapradaha. Aksharopavatakanam Samyak Darshana Nishthanam Sanyasinam Tekta Sarveshananam Adve
I'm here actually. I think Sir can rejoin back.
Yeah, looks like Mama lost power or something. So we'll wait for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, we are just 5 minutes left. No worries. Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Yeah.
There was a power failure here. You can hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Mama.
Mama.
Huh?
Yes.
We can hear you, Mama.
Yeah, okay. So what I was saying was, those who have been following Akshara Upasaka, the formless Parabrahman, Samyak Darshana Nisthana, those who are wedded to the right perception, jnana, Tyakta Sarveshananam, having dropped all desires, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam Ityadi Dharmapogam, Sakshat Amritatva Karanam Vakshami iti Pravartate. Dharmas which are required to be undertaken by such a jnani, which will pave the way for Amritatva, immortality, that he started giving. That is how Shankara introduces this. Nirmamaha, having dropped all sense of mind, sense of possession. Nirahankaraha, having dropped all ego. Samadukha sukhaha kshami, that is, he is equanimous when he meets with pleasure, when he meets with pain, no change in him. Shami, Samadukha Sukha is being equanimous in pleasure and pain. Shami is tolerant. When somebody dishonors you, don't consider it as a dishonor at all. Shami, tolerate, forgive. That is Shami. So these are all essential qualities which you need when you are moving in the world. That is why he starts with that. Unlike Sthita Prajna case, he has gone beyond this. Whereas here, you have to go through all this and reach the goal. The goal is the same, the jnana. श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागाच्छान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखः क्षमी. Bhagavan goes on with further qualifications which a person has to attain before he can call himself a jnani. So we will go through all of them in on our next session at 7:30 p.m. IST next Saturday. Any questions?
Those who have questions, please unmute yourself, turn on your video and ask questions. Any questions, anybody?
Shri Guru Mama.
Can you please turn on your video?
Yes, a moment. Yeah, can you see me? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm putting some Rakta
Yes,
Chandana on my face. Anyway, so my question is, you mentioned Adi Shankara that there is a bhava in which you just after the Agastya's Varnan about drinking the samudra, and then he mentioned that you become Brahman by doing these of the qualities, something like that, which was not a little bit clear to me. Can you explain?
No. This is only to say that an ordinary person can aspire to become a jnani. So that was the attraction which Bhagavan wanted to give to an ordinary person.
Okay.
So Agastya was a Brahmana. He was able to drink the ocean. You are also a Brahmana. You also aspire for that kind of power of drinking the ocean, of becoming a jnani. This is an example given by Shankara for saying that anyone can aspire, should aspire. That is the idea. That's only an example. That is not the.
But actually, after that, do you remember you mentioned something where there is a way by which you attain the Brahmaloka, and just by renouncing the karmas, I think you mentioned that by giving the fruits.
So renouncing the fruit of karma is the starting point, is the basis of everything.
Yeah.
That is the starting point. That is what he wanted to make it absolutely clear.
Okay. Shri Guru.
Yeah, thank you. So we close for the day and we meet again next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. IST. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Shri Mahatripurandarye Jaya Jaya.
Thank you, Guruji.